Hi, hello Drag Race fans, it is me, your least favorite Drag Race commentator, Jer, and we're talking about All Stars at 9, the lip sync Lalaparuza Smackdown today. I made it very clear that I wasn't going to be doing any reviews unless I had something of substance to talk about. But we're going to be doing things a little bit differently today. For the very first time in Drag Race history, we had a lip sync Lalaparuza Smackdown that included no brand new songs to the Drag Race franchise, meaning that they already owned every song that we already saw. That made for a really disappointing viewer experience for me because my brain automatically recalled the old lip syncs and compared them. I know a lot of other fans have already started doing this. This is not the first time this season that this happened. We already had Lover Girl, which was performed by Mrs. Kasha Davis and Candy Ho, spectacularly and much better than was done in this season. Typically in a Lalaparuza, we'll see like one or two songs we've already seen before that they already had licensing for. Saves them a little bit of money for that lip sync Smackdown. This time, every single lip sync from the very first one to the very last one were redos of songs that we've already seen on Drag Race. What are your thoughts on this? Because for me, I personally really didn't like that. I would have loved to have seen new songs for this cast. It seems like there was no budget this season. For some consideration, I do have a list of songs that I think would be really cool with this particular cast that we've never seen before on Drag Race. Motivation by Normani, Beach House by Carly Rae Jepsen, Proud Mary by Tina Turner, Umbrella by Rihanna, and Dangerous Woman by Ariana Grande. And I think those songs would have gone really hard with this particular cast, and I think would have been a little more interesting. But let's go song by song and compare them to the original time that we saw them on Drag Race, and I will be giving a win to either the current season of All Stars or to the first season that performed it, as far as for this particular lip sync song. Our very first ball spin lands on Gottmik, and she picks Angeria as her opponent, which I think was a really terrible choice. I would have picked someone like Nina because Nina is a terrible lip syncer. Angeria chooses My Lovin', which we originally saw in season 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race from Raven versus Nicole Paige Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia. I personally am not a huge fan of the way that Gottmik sort of angrily lip syncs and points to stuff. I don't really get what that's about. I thought Angeria had a lot of really funny moments, but I could see the Drag Race fan in her really pulling back and avoiding doing things that Raven did in her original season. In season 2, Raven saunters to the back of the room in that really slinky little dress and points at every single contestant, including Tyra Sanchez, who won, and told them all that they were never gonna get it, like they weren't gonna win the crown. Raven also had a funny moment where she does the walk back into her life without a good thing and then points to the crotch. And that was a really funny moment in the original version of this lip sync. Angeria did a couple funny things with her face, but at the end of the day, I don't think it was as bombastic as what Raven and Nicole Paige Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia did. And I also feel like because Raven is probably on set to do makeup touch-ups, she was probably behind some curtain or some camera like Scooby-Doo, like, and I would have loved to have just seen her reaction to this, because I bet she was getting her life to this song. So I am giving the win to season 2 for this performance, as I felt that that one was much better in comparison. Our second ball choice is Miss Vanjie, and she chooses Plastique as her lip sync competitor. Plastique chooses When I Grow Up by the Pussycat Dolls, which we originally saw in season 5 with Coco Montrese and Monica Beverly Hills. However, we saw this one more time in season 13 between Denali and Lala Ree in episode 1. Going back to Coco's season, we had a really cute reveal by Coco. Monica was kind of just doing what Monica does and kind of stood there and didn't really have a lot of energy, but Coco burned down the stage. When Denali came in, she was wearing ice skates, so her ability to do things was kind of limited, but she still held her own during that lip sync. Lala Ree did a couple of fun dips and really moved her mouth in a really compelling way, but I didn't think that either one of them were better than Coco's performance was, despite Monica being very low-key. In this performance, however, with Vanjie and Plastique, there was hair, there was ass, there was pussy flying everywhere. And they were so CUNT that I 100% am giving the lip sync win to Plastique and Vanjie. It was also fun to see them lip sync again because they lip sync to Hood Boys in season 11. And we haven't seen them, I believe, lip sync since then. So this was a nice rematch. And it felt like they were both really engaged, they were both present, and they were absolutely killing it. They looked like they were a part of the Pussycat Dolls at the height of their fame. I really loved what they were wearing. I thought the reveals were done a little bit too early, but that's neither here nor there. The lip sync win absolutely goes to the two of them. This will be the version of this song that I automatically recall when I'm thinking about Drag Race going forward. Our third ball choice is Nina West, which was really odd because I believe that these balls are probably rigged and probably all have the same contestant's name on them to ensure that one person is getting an advantage over another. And I was surprised that Nina was picked. She chooses Chanel, which was a really excellent choice. And Chanel chooses You Spin Me Round. At first I thought, oh my god, we're getting a new song. That's pretty cool. We haven't seen this. And then I had a dark-sided evil revelation. And I recalled back to All Stars 5 when Trinity the Tuck and Latrice Royale lip sync to this song the night that Valentina was eliminated. And Trinity wore that fat boob suit, the thing that swung around, and she looked like an old lady watching television and just swinging her titties around for some reason, and it was really disgusting. And it probably should have never happened, and I would love to forget it as soon as I am done talking about this. Nina may have done nothing in this lip sync, but it was better than whatever Trinity was doing. And to be honest, Chanel has so much presence and has so much character and so much brightness on stage that she captured my attention and she held on to it the whole time, that she 100% beat out whatever it was that Latrice was doing originally. And so by comparison, because there was no fat boob suit this time around, I am giving the win to Nina and Chanel because they both were very good. I did not like what Nina was wearing at all, and I didn't like the reveal, but it was cute for Nina, and I thought Chanel looked just perfect. That was great hair. It was styled well, that it was able to hold its shape and retain it the entire night. That is the sign of a professional. Someone who can go out and the outfit they're wearing is going to match any mood, and their hair is going to stay where it needs to stay until they are done doing their job. Our final round is between Roxy and Jorgeous. And as soon as Rue said that the ball was going to randomly land on someone, I knew that it was randomly going to land on Roxy, and that's who it did. So Roxy gets to choose Holding Out for a Hero. So the first time we saw this on RuPaul's Drag Race was in season 9. It was Aja versus Kimora Black. Now, Kimora Black was a little banana lady at the time. It was the Princess Challenge, and Aja was Princess Disaster. And I'm sure y'all remember that that outfit and hair and makeup was horrible. But Aja burned down that stage from the moment the song started to the moment where she kicks her foot up and puts her hand on it and then does the jump kick into the death drop. And when her and Kimora both at the same time both do their death drops, oh, it was over. That was a perfect performance. Now, maybe I'm a hater. I didn't really think that Jorgeous or Roxy really did anything with this song that I haven't already seen in a nightclub, because this particular song has been done by every drag queen of all time ever. And I understand that Roxy had a personal connection to this and she shared that, and that was very emotional for her. And I can appreciate that. I just didn't see that emotion on the stage. There was a lot of hairography, but there was hairography in every single number. So I was less impressed by it the more that the night went on, and then it made that very first performance even less impressive because that was the only gimmick she had all night. And for me personally, I thought Jorgeous won that lip sync. I thought that Jorgeous ate that whole thing up and Roxy was just sort of there. In comparison though, I am giving the win to the Banana Lady and to Princess Disaster because The two of them in season 9 absolutely burned that song to the ground, 100% due to Aja, because Kimura wasn't really doing that much. But in comparison, I didn't really think that Jorgeous or Roxy were doing that much either. Maybe they were doing just a little bit more than what Kimura Black was doing in season 9. So then in round 5, Vanjie chooses Chanel, which I thought was a smart choice. I think Vanjie thought that she'd be able to beat her and that Chanel would pick a song that Vanjie would want to do. So Chanel chooses I'm Every Woman by Chaka Khan. The very first time we saw this was in season 6 with Trinity K. Bonet and April Carrion. Trinity should have never been in the bottom that challenge, that's beyond the point. Back in the season 6 lip sync, Trinity smacks open her fan and is wearing that beautiful aubergine dress that is fitted to her body spectacularly. She sits down at the front of the stage and does her lip syncing and then slowly stands up and shakes her head and her hair is bouncing while April is in the back taking us to church. Both of them had energy and presence. Both of them absolutely brought it. They killed this lip sync. When it came to Chanel and Vanjie, they actually both were very entertaining. I had my eyes locked in on Chanel because, again, she's got so much presence. I thought Vanjie seemed a little more overly dancerly with this particular song, and I don't think it needed that. I think Chanel captured the energy. At the end of the day, while I liked their performance quite a bit, I am giving the win to Trinity and April because I think the two of them were double save worthy. And I think they honestly probably deserved it more than Ben and Darian did later on in the season because the two of them really put their whole soul into that lip sync. And I just preferred that one. Round 6 is Roxy versus Angeria. And the final song that is on the playlist is Groove is in the Heart. The very first time we saw this was in season 10. It was the Vixen versus Asia O'Hara. Again, I don't think the Vixen should have been down there, but that's not a discussion for today. Both of them really killed Groove is in the Heart. I loved the way that they both took their lip sync style and infused it into something that is very silly and camp. I like the way that Asia kind of just like shuffled across the stage and did some of her weird face movements during this song. I will say, I thought that Angeria was quite funny. She had some moments where she did the Morgan McMichael's bend over, pop the pussy, and like something comes out, but nothing actually did. She did one of those kind of moments, and Rue always laughs at things like that. I kind of thought that Roxy was there again. I didn't really think that she killed that lip sync. I don't think that Angeria killed it either. I thought they were both very meh, and so this lip sync could have gone either way, and I would have been like, okay. That being said, I am awarding the win to the Vixen and Asia in season 10 because their performance of this song was leaps and bounds better, more interesting visually, and they seemed more into the song than Angeria and Roxy did. So then our final round is Roxy versus Chanel. They both win beautiful benefactress badges, and it's kind of crazy that Chanel went 0 2-3 out of nowhere, and it's possible Chanel could get another one next week and secure herself into a top 4 scenario, which would be nuts. They lip sync to Break Free, where we originally saw this song in season 7 between Jaden Dior Fierce and Candy Ho during the Death Becomes Her runway. Now, to nobody's surprise, I am preemptively going to award this particular song to season 7 because Jaden is, in my opinion, one of the best lip syncers in the franchise. She really knows how to infuse her personality into lip syncing, and she does it so flawlessly, incorporating dancing and facial expressions and body movements to really punctuate the song. And Candy Ho is one of the strongest lip syncers in the franchise. She kind of starts like a slow stew. It's a low, slow burn, and then it heats up, boils, and just explodes. It is really incredible to watch her lip sync through that season because that's her formula every single time. She starts slow and then warms up and burns the runway down. Same with Jaden, but Jaden just starts at 100% and manages to get up to 200% by the end. And that's really incredible to see. I think both of them really embodied what Break Free is about. And I think the two of them really put on a strong battle for each other. Chanel sort of seemed like, well, I already won my badge, so I don't really need to try that much harder to make any money here. And she started her confessional knowing that Roxy was going to win. And once again, Roxy did a lot of hairography, which I was really kind of just bored by, because now this is the third time in a row that we've seen it. And it's like, you had a vision, and then you had a vision, and then you had a vision. And by the third time, it's not funny anymore. And RuPaul lives for Roxy Andrews. Michelle Visage lives for Roxy Andrews. I live for Roxy Andrews. I just wanted something new by this point, and I didn't get it, so I was not entertained. Roxy wins the whole thing, good for her. And next week is part 1 of the finale. It seems that there's gonna be some type of vote system. I'm curious if they're gonna be voting in someone to be a part of a top 4 scenario. So now to wrap this up for final consideration, since we were doing only songs we've already seen before on Drag Race, for your consideration, here are some songs that really flopped their first time on Drag Race that I would have loved to have seen this time, that really could have used a redemption, that maybe these girls could have turned around the perception of these songs and made them better. From season 5, we have Oops, I Did It Again, Honey Mahogany versus Vivienne Panay. This was the very first double elimination, and rightfully so, because neither one of them did anything, and really, this song could use a redemption on Drag Race. Option 2 is I Will Survive, Season 8, Dax versus Layla McQueen. This was the very second double elimination because both parties were so horrendous in the song. I mean, it was really disappointing. Next we have No Scrubs from Season 11, Nina West versus Silky Nutmeg Ganache. The very first time that RuPaul has punctuated a lip sync ending by saying, meh. It would have been really ironic if Nina had gotten this song again. Next is Greedy Season 9, Nina Bonina Brown versus Valentina. This was the classic Can I Keep It On lip sync. And again, this is another song that really could have used a redemption on RuPaul's Drag Race. And if we really wanted an Ari song, this was a great song to end the night with. Next is Really Don't Care Season 7, Miss Fame versus Pearl. This song was terrible for a lot of different reasons, but one of them was that both of these girls really were not good lip syncers, and this song was powerful and it was strong and it has tension, and we didn't get power or strength or tension from either one of them. We just got pouting and tantrum throwing. And this is the song that I think really could have used a redemption on this particular season. And I would have loved to have seen like mix lip sync style with someone like Chanel or Jorgeous to this song. Would be so cool to see. Next is The Right Stuff from Season 3, Venus Delight versus Shangela. The reason this lip sync was so bad was because both girls were naked the whole time. And Shangela looked a terrible mess because her costume fell apart, and Venus was throwing shit at Shangela. This particular lip sync was awful and could have used a redemption, and I would have liked to have seen it here instead. Imagine Chanel versus Nina to this song. I think it actually would have been a lot more interesting to watch. But I will say that You Spin Me Round, it was also terrible its first time around, so, you know. Maybe it was good that it got a redemption from that fat titty old lady, whatever that was that Trinity did. And the final song that I think could have used a redemption is We Break the Dawn, Season 1, Akasha versus Tammy Brown. This was the very first lip sync of all time where a contestant decided they just weren't going to lip sync. Akasha was fine, like I don't really remember anything she did, but I distinctly remember Tammy standing there and scooting around and doing what Tammy does. And that is a song that really could have used another redemption. And if we were going to use songs that Drag Race already owned, those are ones I would have rather have seen. So what'd y'all think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below, and I will maybe see you for the finale, but I will definitely be chatting about Canada versus the World Season 2, which should be coming up very, very soon. Take care of yourselves and see you on the flip. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Goodbye.